What's up, everybody? This is War. Today's tutorial is going to be over the silly little things called layer masks. Now, in our weapons and everything else, I got sick and tired of filling out the same information every single time. It's ridiculous, it's uncalled for, and I cannot stand it. It's for player weapons, and for the most part, even if you're doing a video thing of players and all that good stuff, you're going to have a layer mask value that you're going to be filling in. And that's fine. I'm great with that and all that cool stuff because we are going to be, just doing stuff. But anyway, we are also going to need a way how do I do text again? Return RPC. I think it's a tooltip. And string. Okay. But anyway, add local layer masks. They're easy for filtering stuff and everything else, but I get tired of filling in layer masks for the just basically the script. Every single weapon, we're filling in one every single time, and it's utterly ridiculous because of I'm just lazy like that. So I devised a way of getting through some of the layer mask issues. Now, it's not really an issue, more or less, but let's say you don't want to fill these in every single time you make a weapon. I mean, yeah, it's kind of annoying, right? Why would you want to do that? It's just crazy, right? Well, it drives me nuts when I'm doing my shotgun. Let's say you have like 150 weapons that you got to code in and everything else. Doing every single one of these variables would be a very tiresome job, especially if you change the logic around, because you're still in development and the layer masks have become a problem because you change one thing, then some coder goes by and just goes, hey, on the player layer, we need to hit this guy now. Well, guess what? Now you got to go through every single weapon and do it all over again. There's a way to solve that solution. There is a way to solve it, but there's also a way to really mess it up too. And it's not as hard as you might think to do. What's the API? I'll figure it out. But in any case, with variables, it's always a gimme, lose, or vice versa. Okay? That's the whole thing about it. You'll never really be able to go, hey, nothing's ever going to not happen, because it will. Alright? Just get it through your head that you can't, fix everything. But with layer mask, there's a few solutions that you could do, and we're going to discuss them in this video. One, here's my weapon test. One, I've got a layer mask variable, and a lot of times we'll be, passing it into our array, like so. But I have this use local mask, or we have this weapon hit layers. Okay, this right here is a different version, but is made for everything. Okay, and by default, my weapon use local mask is false. So 9 times out of 10, it uses this. But if I need a special case, I use the mask that's in my script. Okay? The reason why I did it this way is in case you had some weird one where a special case scenario. Like you need something that'll hit the player. Like this might be a weapon that heals instead of, hurts the player. Whole nother ball game for that. But, it is good to have a case like that, right? So, what do? Well, traditionally, you could do a few things. And these things have issues. You would have a public class, let's say player weapon, okay? And it'll be a mono behavior. And, you got your firing, shooting, and all that. But you need a layer mask, which is usually called mask or layer mask or whatever. And this is your variable, public. And then you can go start as, okay, void start. And in the start, you're going to be like, well, I don't want to fill this in every single time, right? For every weapon. Well, then you're going to be like, well, I'll just use another class, right? Another class. What's the harm in that? Public class layers PL, and it'll be a mono. Because you want to be able to see it in the inspector, add it as a component. Then you're like, well, I need a static reference to this, right? So you'll go public, static, layer, PL, instance, and then you'll have a void start. Like usual, layers equals this. Okay. No, it's instance equals this. My bad. I'm ahead of myself. Alright, so you did this and everything else. Now you're going to go and have a public layer mask. Layer mask. Layer mask layers type, and then you're like, well, the player weapon, we'll just get the layer mask from there. So we'll put this private, we don't care now, and we'll just go, well, actually, let's do our firing function, okay? And we're gonna kid around, and we're gonna inherit from weapon component and go up here to our hit thingy, and we're just going to tinker with this now. Okay, well, boom, this will be void fire, takes no parameters or anything like that. And this is our fire function, right? Actually, I'm in the wrong class, right? This is our fire function. Cut. And there we go. We got the ray. Use local stupid. Okay, we got layer mask. This is part of, weapon API. Okay, weapon API. Now we have access to this. We'll just speed 1F, layers equals mask. Okay. Alright. Alright, this will always work and be fine. But look, in the start, how are we going to get this stuff? Okay, you're going to probably be like, well, what we can do... Oh, wait. Oh, is that not speed? Oh, it's a vector 2. Oh, my bad. Vector 2 dot 0. Okay, so now we got the mask here. Well, every time we fire, you're like, why are we using this one? We could just get rid of this one, right? Okay, yeah, alright, we'll get rid of this one. Where is this one going to exist? This is coming from the instance then. Why not? So, we'll go in here, and we'll go layers, pl, dot instance, dot layers, right? Well, there's a problem with this. This instance always has to exist, and you have to have it in the scene, like every single scene. And you got to fill it in somewhere. Okay? So this automatically has to exist. So this is no good. This might fire off, and then you got a player weapon somewhere in here. It's going to do this. And every single time it fires, it's got to get this instance. That's kind of worthless, isn't it? So you're like, well, we'll go with our original thing. Okay? In the start, we're going to go right here. Cut this out. We're going to uncomment this. Okay? Now we have our mask. So, mask, right? We're good. It'll always be perfectly fine. Well, if we want to change the mask, mask.value equals the instance dot value, right? And this will be fine and everything. Well, guess what? You run into the same problem right here. Same problem. This has to exist. Always. And true, you could do a don't destroy on load. And it'd be this dot game object. And it'll never be destroyed or anything like that. And that's fine. That'll work. Yeah, you could do that. I guess. But what's the big deal about this, right? You can't change this now. It's hard-coded in there forever now. I mean, you could change it in the script and everything, but that's kind of dumb, right? Because now, if you change this and now you want to change it again, well, guess what? It only gets changed once. You have to have another one to write another script to change it. And two, you got to make sure this always exists because this instance variable is like filled in for it. And if you have more than one, well, guess what? This runs and might mess it up for you. And don't forget, you might have issues with the starting and unloading. And if you have more than one level, well, guess what? If you went from the main menu straight to like another level, like maybe the 5th level or something like that, then you got to do logic. Hey, destroy this, do that. Be honest with you, it's a pain in the ass. Pain. Okay? Pain. So what I did was a lot smarter than this stuff, because these two scripts must exist all the time. Player weapon and this always exist. They must exist. One cannot live without the other. Stupid programming for me. Stupid, stupid, stupid. No. Don't like it. Hate it, don't love it. It's generic as crap. So, what I did was completely different and off the charts because that's just what we do. Okay? Weapon test, API, and everything would be fine with a layer mask. I use a special case scenario in the shooting because that's what we do sometimes. We don't have problems here, and it goes up to the physics update. So my hit variable is here. It always must be before your if statements because you're using it inside of if. It's considered opening and closing. If you had hit like right here, raycast hit, it does not exist when you get to this step because it's completely enclosed. Like let's say a river. Once you go down this river, it doesn't know what to do to be able to return it. Okay? So just make yourself a variable here and then choose your logic. Now, weapon hit layers is something entirely, but we'll get to that. So hit, this uses these layers from this script that's in the inspector when you're going to fill it out. Local equals true is for special cases of just, hey, this weapon uses different layers than every other weapon I've got in the game. But the really great thing is, this script right here does not care about another script at all. You're like, where's weapon hit layer? Weapon hit layer. Well, weapon hit layer is an inherited variable. And you're like, well, each inherited script will have its own version of it. Not necessarily. What we've done in the past is make something what we call a static. And what this does is this script right here does what we need. In Weapon API, we go up, not Weapon API, not player weapon. Okay, weapon hit layer, seek definition. Okay, yes, it's right here. In weapon component, we have a protected static variable of layer mask. I can make this public or anything else, but nothing besides the weapon class should have access to this anyway, because it's a weapon hit layer. It's not meant for anything but weapons. Okay? So 9 times out of 10, you're going to have that kind of stuff. Well, in my weapon test, if I inherit from the weapon component, I automatically have that script anyway. It does not care. It does not even matter about anything. It will always have a default value, and it doesn't care about other scripts whatsoever. So this script right here will automatically get a copy of weapon component and everything else that inherits from it. So automatically, anything that inherits from weapon component can change the variables for it. So anything that inherits from this, I can change anything in here. I can change my my weapon hit layer mask. I can change my camera. I can change the bullet hole manager, ammo, and the ammo cases. That's every piece of ammo that we got, whether it be a 5.57, whether it be anything whatsoever. So it has access to all these. They're static, so there's only one instance of it in our program. The camera I made public because we use this in other scripts other than just the weapon. I wanted access to it for some other reason. I think it's from the player class. We fill it in. But anyway, it's all instance. It's instant with great person. It's awesome. So I made a script. One script it does one start, you know, and it's called player weapon layers. It inherits from weapon component. So I have access and can change weapon hit layers anytime that I want. I made this public little variable right here, and this variable will allow me to change all the weapons in my entire game that do not filter into the local weapons. Use local. So if I never use the local variable in the inspector and click it for it to be true, it will always go to my static version of it that's accessible by every weapon. Okay? And that just makes it 100 times easier for problems not to persist. Because A, if I only have one variable to change, that's great. Because programming it for every case on every single weapon, it's time consuming. I mean, it's don't get me wrong, it's nice and all. I mean, it takes you like what 2 seconds to do it. But if you had like 100 weapons or just a freak ton of them, then it becomes a tiresome mess. I don't mind the special cases; those I can deal with. But when you got lots and lots of weapons, yeah, you've got to do something about it. But this is my version of weapon layers. We're going to have lots of other stuff using layers later on. So this is my definition of it. I don't need generic or collections. But that's it, everybody. I know it was really long, and I tried to make it as short as possible. But I think you guys, in the long run, if you watch this far, you're going to really enjoy it when you got lots of weapons and lots of things that use the same layer mask variable. Like, you know, those repeat actions, they take a lot of time, and they're so freaking annoying. So, peace out, everybody. Take care, and thanks for watching. This is War over and out.